So today I have my friend Brenda with me. Brenda Richards has been married to her husband Charles for 44 years. They have 5 children together. And tell me again how many grandkids?
20.
I just forgot. 20 grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you so much for letting me
This
chat
is
with
fun.
you today.
This is fun.
I'm really excited to learn from you. I just have to say really fast, I'm very lucky to live as an adult in the same place that I grew up. And there are a lot of people that I get to be friends with now as an adult that I knew as a child. But it's really hard for me to call you Brenda. So if I choke on your name,
That's okay.
I can't hardly get it out. Anyway, first of all, let me ask you 3 words to describe yourself as a mother.
Oh, what, as a mother?
As a mother.
Oh, this is difficult. 3 words. Loving. Let's see. Oh.
I should have let you prepare for this.
No, you shouldn't
have.
I love my kids a lot. Oh boy. Forgiving. And what's a word that says you stayed up all night helping them with their homework?
Exhausted.
Exhausted. There you go. That's what I want. Exhausted.
Okay, that sounds good. I think most moms can relate to that.
I was more ready to say grandchildren because that's the era I'm in right now.
Sure,
so that would be easier.
Well, I have a lot of questions for that too. So first of all, I want to know, I think a lot of people who know you would identify with a descriptor of you being really cheerful and really joyful. That's just kind of your demeanor. I think a lot of people really respect that and love that about you. And I wonder, is that something that really comes naturally to you? Is that your personality, or is that a choice that you made at some point?
I think that is a choice I made because I am generally a shy person. And due to the church callings I've had, I have had to learn to be outgoing and to, I like to make others feel good. And to do that, you have to be outgoing, you have to be enthusiastic, and you have to be loving. And because I want to be that kind of person, I think I've made myself more. But naturally, I'm kind of quiet and shy, believe it or not.
I didn't. I have trouble believing
I know.
About you.
I was kind of quiet in high school.
Thank you for sharing that. So you mentioned some callings or assignments through our church. One of the things that you have done a lot is work with the youth programs, and even when I was a youth, or my siblings, or we've argued a little bit about the time plan on that, but I've seen you work with youth a lot, and when I was talking to your daughter, who's a friend of mine, she said ask her about teenagers. She's so good with teenagers. So I don't know if I have a specific question for you about that, although I'd love to hear kind of your thoughts, your philosophy on that. I would love for you to comment on, I think a lot of people give teenagers the bad rap, and that's just an age to kind of buckle up and get through it. And I would guess that is not your approach.
Not how
so
I feel.
I'd love to hear how you feel about that.
I feel like that is another blessing maybe that the Lord has given me is I love teenagers. As a mother, my children's teenage years was my favorite time of mothering. Little kids are cute and I enjoyed them, but I loved having teenage children. It was fun, and I think the Lord allowed me to remember how hard it was to be a teenager, and because of that, it's been important for me to help teenagers have self-confidence and feel good about themselves. And I feel like if teenagers can feel good about themselves, then it will be easier for them to make good choices. And so I really, really enjoyed working with the youth. That's my favorite thing I've done as far as church callings. I taught seminary for 10 years, and then I was warden, stake young woman president for another 10 or 15 years. And I just love the youth. I think that they're at a time in their lives when they really do want to make good choices. And if you love them and be kind to them, they will. So it's my favorite thing I've done.
So what does that look like for you in helping them to build confidence and helping them through kind of some of those struggles?
You know, one thing, this is just a simple thing, but know their names. I even as a ward member, speak to the kids and know their names and know the activities that they're in and ask them how they're doing. I think that's what I do with my grandchildren too. I want to know everything they're doing so that I can ask them how they're doing and text them and so they know they're loved, so they know somebody knows who they are. And I just think the kids need to feel like they're loved and valued, and by people beyond their parents. It takes more than parents to raise good kids.
Yeah.
And I feel like that others in the community, in the ward, extended family, can be those other people and can really make a difference. Because if a child has confidence in who they are, feels good about themselves, they aren't as swayed by all the craziness going on in the world.
Mm-hmm. Everybody needs to have that, feel known and feel seen.
Absolutely.
And especially teenagers.
I do still. I mean,
Right.
we all do.
Right. Oh, I
Anyway.
like that. Cool. So you talked a little bit about your grandkids. You have 20 grandkids,
Yes.
and that's the stage of life that you
Yes.
get to kind of dig into right now. So I know you're super involved, Grandma. Tell me what that looks like
Well,
for your kids. How
I'm
do
a
you...
very fortunate grandmother in that 16 of my 20 grandchildren live here
That's huge.
from less than 10 miles away from me.
Wow.
And so for me, that involves attending games, attending concerts, attending plays, attending babysitting, and then also being here to run them places if their mothers get real busy. And I think one of my favorite things is just being here so that they can stop by on the way to school and bring their friends. I try to have treats all the time so that they can bring friends by and just visit. And sometimes they stay 15 minutes because they have to be home, and sometimes they stay an hour. And it's just really special to. I remember Tiffany told me one time that Jackson was the most popular kid in the 6th grade because everybody wanted to come home with him to come by Grandma's house. So, and now Jackson's a senior, and all his friends call me Grandma. All the kids that are graduating with him, they're real close, and it makes me feel good. It's what I want to be right now. It's the thing I like to be. And
So obviously, being involved and being present and being available. How do you describe your role as a grandma in their life? What are you adding?
You know, that's an interesting question because as a parent of children, you are their teacher, you are their disciplinarian, and you love them, but and you're their friend a little bit, but some of the other roles are more important than being their friend. Although I feel like my children, as they were growing up, were my friends, but there were other things that were more important. Sometimes there was a clash between that.
Yeah.
But as a grandmother, you get to be that friend, and it's been really fun since they've grown up here. Even the teenagers like to come. I had one grandson who brought his first date here, and they had their date here at my house. He and a couple other couples painted a picture here. Bob Ross, they did a Bob Ross video here at our house, and sometimes when it's a dance, the teenagers will all come by and I'll take the dance pictures. And so I think it's a little bit of a friend, maybe a role model, a little bit. That's the reason one of the big reasons we decided to go on a mission. I think that besides being a friend, you're a little bit of a role model, and they want to be like you. They see that you're having fun living the gospel, and so they want to follow in those footsteps and be like you are a little bit.
Cool. So having so much family in the area, especially, but just your general role as the matriarch of this family and the opportunity to gather your family and to strengthen those relationships both when they were young and now as adults and having their own family. What does that look like for you? How do you organize that as the matriarch? And those family relationships can be really difficult. They can cause a lot of friction.
They can. You can spend too much time together. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. How do I organize? I try not to plan too many things because I don't want to get involved in their lives. So quite often I wait for one of them to suggest we do something before I do it. I try to make sure that if we ever do plan things that they all know that they don't have. There's no requirements to come. But the grandchildren are all each other's best friends, and so they wouldn't miss anything for the world because they just Right now, they're off at EFY together at different groups, and they're just truly best friends. They double date all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, the parents are kind of drawn in, even if they don't want to be, because the kids always want to come. But I don't know. I think I do less coordinating it now than I used to, because we all just got in the habit of doing it, and sometimes one of the kids kind of gets it going. But I feel like it's easier for me to do it, because if I want anyone to be offended, I want it to be at me and not at one of the brothers or sisters. So I kind of try to be the buffer if there's ever a. And we're a normal family. We have times when things are frustrating, and but it's important to work it out, and so we do. So,
Wow, that's interesting. So maybe you already answered this then. When I talked to your daughter, her quote was, "She really makes us love each other." And then she kind of was like, that sounds horrible, but I guess
that makes me feel good that she would say that, because there's nothing greater as a mother to watch your children love each other, and I think that goes back to raising your children to love each other. And granted, when they're small, you'll think they'll never be able to stand each other, and I want to say that to you right now. You just go, oh, these kids will never get along. But I think as they're growing up, as you help them attend each other's activities, as you tend to, if one of them's having a hard time, going through a hard time, it's really good to let the other kids know a little bit, if it's appropriate, and help them pray for each other and support each other as they're growing up. And that kind of goes up into adulthood. And the other thing that I think is really important, and I got this from my father, is a family needs to have fun together. No matter how busy you are, no matter how broke you are, it's really important to have a little bit of time to play together. Just the family, not with other friends. And I think as you do that, you grow kids that do love each other. And even though they drive each other crazy sometimes, they support each other, and they wouldn't let anybody else hurt their brothers and sisters. And I think that will carry on into adulthood too. And so I think those seeds are planted where you are right now. Even though they probably
real little
I know
they'll just scream at each other all day long.
You won't see any of it right now.
Great.
No. Anyway.
Cool. All right. Wow. Well, thank you very much for answering
you're
all
going to
of
make
my
me answer
questions.
these questions now.
I'm going to do your
these
questionnaire.
are so deep. Okay, I'm excited about
Ready?
this. Okay.
All right, so here's our questionnaire. Brenda, what's your favorite sound?
When you said that, my favorite sound, you're going to make me cry, is my grandchildren laughing. There's no greater sound. And if you'd asked me that 25 years ago, it probably would have been my children laughing. But my grandchildren laughing, especially together.
Yeah.
That's my favorite sound right now.
What's your least favorite sound?
The same grandchildren arguing. that would be my least favorite sound. Although maybe not. Least favorite sound. Because you have to disagree in order to grow. So maybe that isn't my least favorite sound.
You want to pick a better answer?
Yeah, I want to pick a better answer. My least favorite sound. Telephone.
Oh.
My least favorite sound is the telephone, because it interferes with life. So I sometimes don't answer it. How's that?
That's great. That's a great answer. What's your favorite word?
Family.
What do you know?
You made me cry. This is probably because of what you just asked me, but I know that we were put here on earth to be families, because it's the best way that we could grow to be like our Father in heaven. And I think that answer comes because of the discussion we've just had, but I know that. I know that there's no greater way that we could become God's, as our Father in heaven is, without having families and having those experiences that we have, good or bad as they may be.
Right. What do you want to learn?
Oh, wow. It's funny, you'd think by my age, you'd think you knew more than you did 40 years ago, but I don't. I think the older you get, the more you realize you don't know.
Yeah.
I would like to learn whatever it is that my Heavenly Father wants me to learn in these last 20 years of my life.
Brenda, what scares you?
know anything we're talking about, but right now I'm at the stage where I'm starting to slow down, and I don't want to, because I like being with people, and I like being with my children and grandchildren, and it scares me that my young grandchildren will know me as an older lady, whereas my older grandchildren knew me as fun grandma. And so that's, even though I know it's a part of life, it scares me.
What are you good at?
Oh, when you said that, I thought to myself, that's really hard. I've always felt like I wasn't great at anything, but that I can do lots of things a little bit.
Okay.
And so that's a very hard question for me to answer. You know, I've tiptoed into a lot of different areas. I'm not a concert pianist, but I play the piano. I don't have a lovely solo voice, but I sing great in choirs. You know, I do a little bit of arts and crafts and a little bit artsy, but I would never be. So I do everything a little bit. So what am I good at is really, really hard. Is that what you said? What am I good at?
What are you good at?
I remember being asked that about 20 years ago. And my answer then was, I feel like I've been a good mother. And I think that would still be my answer, that I think I've done okay at being a mom. That's not saying I didn't make a lot of mistakes.
Sure.
And I can list you my mistakes. But here's a mistake I've made. I'm probably going to take this out of it, but sometimes I've been a better mother than I have been a wife. And my husband and I have talked about that, and there's a time when you spend your whole time being a mother. And it's really nice now that he's retired and we have time together that I can kind of fill in for the time and we can enjoy each other and have that time together that maybe we didn't have when he was working so hard and I was raising kids, and we didn't have a lot of time together. And it's neat that we still love each other at this point, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you saying that. I think I feel that right now at this stage of my mothering, that my husband gets the short end of the stick.
It's a hard choice to make, and you know, you have to be careful, but you do. You kind of err a little bit on that side, and then the time will come when you'll go on a mission and you'll have all your time together.
Well, thank you so much for letting me ask all these questions. I really
I hope
appreciate
it was a little helpful.
Glad to be able to learn from you.